Don't you just hate it when your cat sits in front of you and just stares? Even ones that you've put on a quilt? I know, I've got to get you finished. Good morning, everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly vlog. It is vlog number 438 for January the 5th, 2026, and I hope you all are recovering well from after Christmas, New Year's, and all that hubbub. I took down my Christmas decorations on Friday, and that's out of the way, and the house now looks bare. It always looks that way, doesn't it, after you take down your Christmas decorations? Kind of takes a little while to get used to it. Feels kind of depressing when you don't have all those nice decorations up. But anyways, they're down, they're stored, they're away. It's time to get on with the new year. So speaking of the new year, you know that 2026, I've said this multiple times over the last 2 weeks, was going to be the bag of the year for me. Yes, I was going to turn my attention to learning about bag making. And it didn't start off well. As you know, I showed you last week the amethyst bag that I made from one company, and the instructions were not that great. They didn't work with my brain. Excuse me. And I made a mess of that. So I decided to try something that I was pretty sure was going to work out really well, and it was an Adam Sews pattern. And we'll talk more about this creation tomorrow. And yes, it turned out okay. It looks pretty good. However, I'm not completely happy with it. And tomorrow on Idiot Quilter, I'll go into that in a little bit more detail. So I'm giving you just a little sneak peek right now of the final project. But as I said, it looks good from where you're sitting, but I am going to point out a few things that really got my goat a little bit. But this has nothing to do with the pattern itself. Adam's pattern was wonderful. It has everything to do with me, the user. So I've turned my attention to other projects now, and I'm going to talk about those tomorrow. I don't think I have anything up here to show. No, I don't. So tomorrow I'm going to talk to you about a new project that you can see a little teeny piece of it over here, over my shoulder, that I'm starting to work on. And after I get finished doing my vlog today, getting all choked up, I'm going to turn my attention to what's on Lucy. And yes, this week I am putting more of my efforts not on this project that's on the design wall, but I'm going to put it on my UFOs that need to get done. So let's hope Lucy's in a good mood this week, because when she is, it works brilliantly. When Lucy is not in a good mood, we have words and I lose. So yeah, enough about that. Let's move on to YouTube channel of the week. Well, I don't know if you have been watching it. It's just finished up for the first season, and it's probably the most controversial and hot show, literally hot show, on the streaming things from, out there. And it's called Heated Rivalry. It is a Canadian production. It's based on a series of books that are written by a Canadian author, and basically it's gay sex. Yeah, on mainstream streaming. It is hot. It does have a plot. It is good. I really like it. The guys in it are, oh my, if I was only 30 years younger, they still wouldn't look at me. But yeah, and it's called Heated Rivalry. And if you go onto YouTube, it seems like all the shorts that can pop up into your feed or whatever, at least in mine, are all about Heated Rivalry and about the relationship between the two actors that play in this. And anyways, there are lots of interviews, and here's an interview. It's called How Connor Storrie and Hudson Williams, those are the two main characters, or the two actors that play the main characters in Heated Rivalry, prepare their butts for Heated Rivalry. Wow, you want to talk about clickbait? But here's what I'm talking about. This week's YouTube video of the week is one that's somewhat very controversial in terms of what they're talking about. And you can see in the title, called How Connor Storrie and Hudson Williams Prepare Their Butts for Heated Rivalry. It's an interview on eTalk. Yeah, if you are not familiar with Heated Rivalry, it is a new program, streaming program. I believe here in Canada we watch it, I think, on Crave, but I think you can see it on Hulu. I'm not sure. It's on different ones, so you can just look for it. But it is the hot new show about two gay hockey players. And they definitely are well built and they have some very steamy sex scenes. And the speculation is out whether or not the two main characters, which you see here in the splash screen, are actually gay because they don't say. They have kept that very private. They are young actors. Maybe I think they are probably gay. But they probably want to keep that quiet, let people be more intrigued in anticipation of the second season because they've had one season already that was very successful. And also, they may not want to be typecast in future productions since they are reasonably young actors who have not yet done a whole lot. Anyways, the interview is very, very interesting, and you can make the determination for yourself which team they play on. Notice how I worked in a little hockey reference there. But if you haven't watched Heated Rivalry, I suggest you do. It's very, very good beyond the, well, the somewhat, how can we put it, risque scenes that are there. Yeah. So check out this video clip and determine it for yourself. So if you're interested in seeing that interview, if you haven't seen it already, and I am sure it has popped up on your feed because everything Heated Rivalry is, as I said, you'll find a link for it in the show notes below. You will find a link down there for all kinds of other interesting goodies. You will find links also to last week's videos and everything that was there. And you will find a link, let me double check. Yes, you will find a link for Sewing with Stephen. We're back on track for that. We took a little bit of a detour from the Wednesday sew days during the holidays, but now we're back on track, and so all are welcome, and links in the show notes below. Okay, so let's take a look at what the weather's doing outside, and you can see it is a snowy morning here at my place. Looks like we have some more snow to shovel, which, yeah, it's January, so you do. It's very pretty. I kind of like the fact that our Christmas lights are still up. Walter hasn't got around taking those down yet, but I kind of like the way that the color of those lights right now are reflecting off the snow. It gives a nice little bluish glow, and then you got a little greeny glow happening from the lights on the front of the house. It looks very peaceful. It's quite pretty. It's not quite sunrise yet here, but looks can be deceiving, don't you know? Because right now it's -5 degrees Celsius. That is not bad. I consider that balmy. And now they say, though, it feels like -9. Still, anything above -10 here where I live, and I know the people out in the western parts of Canada are laughing at me right now going, yeah, -10? Really? Try -40. I don't want to. Thank you very much. So feels like -9. So, it's brisk out there. But we have a snowfall warning according to the app. It says, snowfall warning. These conditions started at 4:40 a.m. Monday, January the 5th. They started then. And it's showing on here, and I don't know if you can see this, but this is showing that it is snowing. I mean, it's a graphic, but it's showing that snowing. Well, I can't tell in the picture that I took whether it is or not. I haven't opened the front door. It has been snowing because there's a light dusting on the front walkway. But anyways, now they've got sleet forecasted. Sleet for the next hour. Oh, don't like sleet. What is sleet? If you're not sure, sleet is basically freezing rain. And it coats everything. And it's very treacherous to drive in. It's very treacherous to walk in. And it can, if it lasts for a long time and has an accumulation, it can bring down tree branches. It can bring down hydro lines, yeah, not so good. And they seems to be asleep for the next hour. And they're showing it actually accumulating in that hour, moving up from 10, I'm not sure what the M's supposed to be. Meters? Well, we're not getting 10 meters, no, millimeters. Maybe like the way they measure rain. I don't know. But anyways, how long is all of this supposed to last? Well, we're supposed to have snow, according to this, on the hourly forecast. 100% snow at up to 8 a.m. And then at 9 a.m. it switches over, I think, to this sleet. 80% chance, 75, 65. It reduces up until lunchtime, but it's supposedly going to carry on up to lunch, and the temperature is rising. So that sleet could change into more of a rain. And then after we get past lunch, it's pretty much just nothing. Yeah. So don't know. We'll see. So that's today. Tomorrow it looks like more precipitation, and on Wednesday, and on Friday, and on Saturday, and then snow on Sunday. But it looks like they're talking, ooh, goodness, the temperatures are going up. By Friday, we're supposed to be at 7 degrees C. That's rain then. Oh, you never know what it's going to be like out here anymore. Well, you can't do much about the weather. It's winter. I just don't like rain in the wintertime. I really don't. It makes everything sloppy. I'd rather have snow. I really would. But yeah, these are what I would like. But, obviously I don't have an in with Mother Nature. So, she's got to do her thing and she's not going to listen to me. So anyway, sorry, cut myself off there for a minute, hit the wrong button. So that's what's been going on outside. This is the button I want. But saying about, I can't do anything about Mother Nature, she runs the rules the roost. Yeah, she does. And it's sort of the way I am with my channel. All right, you've heard me kind of talk about people who think that I create, or any content creator for that matter, creates channels just for them, and that we should be doing and talking about things that they want us to talk about and should be doing. Well, that's fine and dandy, except don't try to hijack a live. So we had that yesterday during the live. Some of you were there. You may know this person put a comment on there. She didn't like the fact that we got a little political. Now, we didn't spend a great deal of time on politics, and I'll be honest, I try not to. But we were talking about what may be coming up in 2026, and I'll have to admit it was not a pleasant discussion, because basically I'm very worried about 2026, I think, as a lot of people are. And we all know why we're worried. Politics is in the forefront. You can't avoid a conversation about politics right now, because the world is in a mess. And we know who to blame for that, all the politicians. But we need to voice our concerns about it for a large variety of reasons, for a great number of reasons. Because if we sit back and not say anything and don't put on public display our distaste of what our governments are doing to us, then they just continue. Now, yes, the pessimistic types could turn around and say, yeah, well, it doesn't matter because they ignore us anyways. And that's very true. They do. And I would be in that line of being a pessimist about that. But still, you've got to say something. Thing is, not everybody has a major platform out there that they can air their grievances with the government. We as content creators, most of us are small potatoes. Politicians don't take any heed or pay any attention to us to start with, but that doesn't matter. And I'm sort of digressing from my main point here, so let me come back to it. This comment was made as basically change the topic. I don't want to hear about politics. Oh, excuse me, not your channel. And that is a red flag when somebody does that, because we've had people do that to us before. And the first few times that ever happened to us, We just let it go. We even became apologetic. I'm not going to apologize for what I put on my channel. And the simple reason is this. It's my channel. My channel, my rules. Some of you have heard the other expression that I've used a lot. My sandbox, my rules. Yeah. I'm the one that designs the content. I'm the one that spends hours working things out, trying to find topics that I think people will be interested in. But let's talk a little bit about why this upsets me. It's control. Yeah, you can consider me a control freak if you wish. That's fine. But it is my channel. I have the final word. I encourage, when we do the lives, especially, I encourage conversation. Because the live, Stephen and Walter Live, is designed to be something that deals with just general topics all over the place. We never know for sure what we're going to be talking about on Stephen and Walter Live, as I've said before. I mean, we have a basic idea, an outline, if you will, but we feed upon comments that people make. And for the most part, 99.9% of the people that are chatting on the lives are contributing to it in a positive way. But comments that turn around and try to take the control away from us are not positive, and it's not going to be allowed, and it's not going to be happen. And I'm sorry if we hurt her feelings when Walter called her a bitch, because she was being a bitch. Sorry, but that word is appropriate to it. Now, some of you are going to say, oh, well, just get over it. Just ignore it. No, don't tell me what to do. I don't tell you what to do. In fact, I will tell you what to do. And this is what I told this woman because she wrote me another email. And she didn't appreciate that we'd called her a bitch. Fine, don't care. You were acting like one. And she still wasn't getting the point. So I wrote back to her and said, look, go away. You don't need to watch us then. If we say something that upsets you, if we talk about something that you're not interested in, if we aren't living up to your expectations, in quotation marks, then no one's got you tied down to a chair and keeping your eyes open and forcing you to listen and watch us. There are millions, literally millions of YouTube channels out there. You go ahead and watch ones that fit your philosophy. You don't have to watch us. If you think it hurts our feelings because you ended your subscription with us, which that's what I said in the email, please do. It doesn't bother us in the least bit. That's the nature of YouTube. YouTube also, for the most part, and this is somewhat debatable, is a forum for free thinking and free expression of that thinking. How long it will be like that, who knows, with the way things are going in the United States with Trump. He's trying to censor anything that goes against him or whatever, or his policies. And I think it's just, a short matter of time before he will start attacking YouTube. Because we know on YouTube there's a lot of content out there that is negative towards Trump, and rightly so. And that's the other point that I wanted to bring up. I feel that this person is probably a Trump supporter. And as soon as I said anything negative about that administration, this is what triggered her to write her little comment. Well, I have no respect for anybody that voted for Trump. I say it out here. I've said it many times. People know that. I suspect that many of my followers are not Trump supporters. I also think that those people who may have voted for Trump are now regretting it. And they probably don't want to hear any more negative things about Trump because they probably are taking it personally out of guilt because they were partially responsible for putting him in power. I get all that, but too bad. That's life. You got to confront the good and you got to confront the bad. But as a subscriber to our channel, there are some things that people need to know. First of all, you are not in control. We are. We control the content. We control the tone. We control all of it. If you try to take control, then we will not take it lying down. You will be told in no uncertain terms that no, we don't accept that. And that's within our right as the content creator. Remember, you pay nothing for this. And when I say you, I mean those subscribers like this one that made the comment yesterday. You can think what you want to think. Everybody has an opinion. That is fine. Just be very careful how you express that opinion in a live situation. If you can dish it out, you can also take it, or you should be able to take it, because we're not going to sit back and allow you to browbeat us. Not going to happen. So let's talk about one more thing. I have talked about this before, but I still don't think people understand. I produce 4 videos a week. There is overlap, but essentially this is what each one is for. My vlog, what you see right now, is more of a general what's going on here in my life. It does touch upon quilting and sewing, but it also touches upon 3D printing. It talks about new products. It talks about plans for the future, things like that. It is a vlog, and that word has become diminished over time. But when people started using the term vlog, they meant a video log of their life, a video diary per se. Okay, so that's what's happening right now. Tomorrow on the Idiot Quilter, that is more specific. That I try to keep about quilting and sewing. So that's what the Idiot Quilter is all about. So Chatty is about quilting, but in a more general way. It is more philosophical, if you wish, and it's with Walter as well. So we have 2 perspectives, a quilter and a sewer, coming together to talk about topics that aren't so specific necessarily to actual projects, but more about extensions of the philosophy of creating, of quilting. If you saw last week, So Chatty, for example, we talked about expectations versus reality. A lot of our topics are suggested to us by subscribers for that, and I do a little bit more research, and I do a little bit of, I change it a little bit to something I think people might be interested in, but it's more philosophical. And Stephen and Walter Live is basically a free-for-all. It's a way to wind up the week, and we talk about everything on there. We talk about what we're doing. We talk about things we've read. We talk about things that are pissing us off. We talk about things that comments people have made in our comment section of our YouTube channel. We go with the flow pretty much in the chat, and we encourage that. So there's 4 videos, but they all have a different purpose. So if you're not interested in getting into politics or our personal lives, but you're a sewer and you want stuff that's strictly about quilting and that, then go to the Idiot Quilter. That's the ones you should be watching. If you like to find out about things in other areas like 3D printing, then come here to the vlog. If you just want to hang out with a bunch of people for an hour and a half on a Sunday afternoon to talk about whatever, then that's the live. It's that simple. So, and if none of these things appeal to you, then drop me like a hot potato and find things that do appeal to you. No one's holding you down, and that's what I meant with this particular woman. But above all, and this is important, we will not, Walter and I, we will not allow anybody to hijack our channel. if you put it out there and you put it out there in such a way that it is negative and sounds like you're trying to control things or whatever, expect to get a reaction. And it may not be the reaction you want. So, food for thought. All right, let's move right on to the grow light situation. Well, things are a little dead. If I can get this thing to move. Okay, bear with me. Why am I... Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay, never mind. You don't need to know why I'm an idiot. You can figure that out for yourself. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is lettuce. Now, don't look at the lettuce on the left. That's the old lettuce. And you can see it's starting to get to the stage now where, oh, that's gone. We've been eating that. Well, not the brown stuff, but we've been eating that. Now we've got new stuff coming up over on the other side. So that's good. And here is the last of the older crop. I think Walter's got some more started. And then we've got basil coming out of our yin-yang over there. And the poor old tomato plants, they're still doing good. We're getting lots and lots of tomatoes. And by the way, I tried to pickle tomatoes. Found a recipe. Yeah, no. They weren't that great. No. They ended up actually in my chili that I made the other day. Yeah. But you see, these plants are getting a little tired. So it's time to get some new ones going. And the same with the peppers. And here's a better picture of the peppers. And those peppers don't exist anymore because they went in the chili. But you can see how thick the stalk is on the pepper plant back there in the back. So yeah, they need to be, they're getting pot bound. So Walter said he needs to, he said he was going to transplant them, put them in bigger pots, but I don't know. I have a feeling that these might be on their last legs. I don't know. I don't know if they'll rejuvenate or not from that, because they're old plants now. Been around for a bit. So I don't know what the lifespan is of a pepper plant. But anyways, yeah. So things need to be spruced up in here. And but anyways, it's still a successful adventure in gardening under the grow lights, I think. Okay, so what's that taking me to? All right, new products. Well, I bought a whole boatload of stabilizer in anticipation of making more bags. So I stocked up on various varieties of stabilizer. And yeah, making the bags is on hold at the moment, but that's okay. You can always use stabilizer or interfacing and things like that. And I got my new Kobo. I bought this for myself at Christmas. My Kobo, for those of you that don't know what a Kobo is, it's the same as a Kindle. The States have Kindle. In Canada, we have Kobo. It's my e-reader, and I love this. This, I think, is number 4 that I have had over the years. This one, though, has color, as you can see, which is cool. So yeah, and I'm using it right now, and I love it. It's a little smaller than the one I had before this, and actually I like it because it fits in my hands even better. So that's fine. And you can adjust the size of the text on e-readers. That's one of the beauty of the e-readers. You know, if you're having a little trouble with your eyesight, you can, enhance the text. So yeah, it's very nice. And this is the AMS. Now, you've heard me say I was going to buy another one. It's sitting there waiting to be hooked into the printer that's sitting beside it. The one that says Bamboo Lab on it. I got this a week ago. It came. Well, they're sending it in pieces. So I got this and some other little parts with it, but I didn't get the hub. The hub is a piece that you attach to the back of the printer so that you can run an additional AMS on it. AMS is automatic material supply, something like that. It's what you put 4 spools of filament in there and different colors, and the system automatically changes colors and everything with it. And I already have one on that machine, but I want 2 because it's 8 colors. Plus I have 2 on one of my other Bamboo Labs. I love that many. It just makes life even easier. Well, I got another package from them that had the rest, well, I thought had the rest of the stuff I need for this. it was missing the hub. Well, it was missing it because they hadn't shipped it yet. That is supposed to arrive, I think, today by Canada Post. The other pieces all came by FedEx. So slowly but surely, piece by piece, I'm getting everything. And I'm hoping today I get the last piece and I can get this up and running. So yeah, all part of my little print farm that I have here, my mini print farm. And speaking of 3D prints then. Oh, there was one more thing I was going to show you before I show you this, but where's my picture? Okay, I don't have a picture. I thought I did. Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure I do have a picture of it. No, I do not have a picture of the new toy. What I have, though, is a little video clip that I made of the new toy in operation. And the new toy I am talking about is our new Robo vacuum cleaner. And this little sucker, it's called a Movo. It was on sale. So Walter, when he sees a sale, can't resist. It mops and it vacuums, has a steep learning curve because the instruction booklet that came with it, because it's all run, of course, like everything off your phone on an app, was not very clear, but I think we've got it pretty much figured out now, and it does a really good job. I'm quite impressed with it because the one that we're replacing with this new one basically was, AI challenged. It was a stupid machine. It was supposed to have smart features, but the smart features were not very smart. And it was just getting frustrating. So that's why we got the new one. But I have a little video clip showing you it sort of in action. So I'm going to insert that here. So we got a new toy, a new RoboVac, and this one mops and vacuums. And we've been having a lot of fun trying to get this up and running. Now it seems to have finished the vacuuming of the house, and now it's supposed to mop our hardwood floors. So it's attaching its mops to itself right now, and there's water in this tank and everything, and so I think it gets the mops really wet. The water can be heated, though right now I just have it on standard. I don't have it on real hot. I just want to see if this thing will know the difference between doing a hardwood floor and going onto the carpet. It should. Walter spent quite a long time setting up the map that you have to set up for this to know where things are and where to go. Okay, yeah, it's got its little mops on it right now, and you see them hanging out at the back. Okay, so now I don't know where it's going. It's spinning about. I guess it's trying to figure out. Oh no, it's backing back into the station. I wonder why. It has itself docked. I'm wondering if it has to recharge. Said something. I don't know. It talks to you, but I can never make out exactly what it's saying. So I really don't know what it's doing at this moment. It sounds like it might be cleaning the mops, but it should be doing that because they haven't really been used. So I don't know. It's a mystery. The manual that came with this did not explain things very clearly. It was very minimum. And when you go to their website as well, there's not a lot of useful information there. We've had to scour YouTube to find different things on how people are using this, which isn't really good, considering that this product cost us, well, we got it on sale, but it's almost $1,000 for this. Walter got it on sale for like 600 something, $6.99. You know, Walter, he always finds a sale. So I don't know what it's doing right now. I do know that the battery's getting low because it's been up here vacuuming for about 90 minutes or more. And, well, we'll see what happens with this. Let's see, what's it doing? Don't know. Sitting there thinking, making little noises. And it's making more little noises. It sounds like there's cleaning fluid in there. That came with a bottle of cleaning fluid, a small bottle, that we had to put inside. And it's all set up to go. And then it has a clean water and a dirty water tank. So at certain points, I guess you have to dump the water, of course, because it's dirty. Not sure if it tells you when to do that, because we haven't used the mopping feature yet. And I don't know if we're going to be using it yet now. Oh, wait, it's coming out. Okay, that's a good sign. So where are you going to go now? Sitting here thinking. Is it thinking about, yeah, I'd really like to mop your floor or not? I mean, that's what you're hired to do. Oh, it's moving further away from the docking station. And it is, now the mops are not turning. Not sure where it's going to start. It's making its way over here. Okay. Now it's supposed to lift its mops up if it hits carpet, so those don't get wet. Guess it's, oh wait, there the mops are going now. Oh, and the floor is wet, so it is mopping. It is mopping. Now I wonder if it has enough charge left to do all the hardwood. Most of our hardwood is covered in area rugs, as you can see, but there's the hallway, but it seems to be working. Now, as I said, you can increase the temperature of the water. I left it at the default. I mean, our floors are not that filthy. I clean them on a regular basis, so. But it is doing what it's supposed to be doing right now. So we'll come back later and see how it's finished up. Well, that didn't last long. It hasn't finished yet, but it said it's returning to the base for self-cleaning. So I'm not sure what that's all about. I know it does clean its little pads, backing into the docking station right now, and then it's going to do self-cleaning, but it hasn't done my floors. I just did this one little area here. It's got all of this to do and down the hallway. So it's now cleaning the mop pads, it said. I did understand what it said there. So you can hear it. I'm not really sure how it goes about cleaning them. There's a tray in there. I guess maybe some water gets spurted into that and it swishes it around. I'm just wondering if it's going to continue after it's done this. Well, we'll let it do its thing and I'll come back and give you an update. So it mopped part of the floor, but now it's coming up with a low battery reading, and it's been running for over 110 minutes. So yeah, I could see that, and it's at 15%, so that must be its threshold. And now it's traveling back to the dock to recharge. And once it's charged, it says it's going to continue where it left off. Why it's on the carpet right here, I don't know, but the little wheels, the little mops on it were not spinning. It wasn't putting any water out there, so that's a good thing. But now it's going to try and dock itself. It's got to turn around, it backs into the dock. And there it goes, slowly but surely. We had a little trouble with it when we first got it yesterday out. It wasn't staying up in the dock. Something was blocking it, but I did read that if you put a little shim underneath it, that will help. And that does seem to solve the problem. We put a little piece of cardstock. You can see it poking out there at the front. Charging. So it's on here charging right now. And it's cleaning, I think, the mop pads at the same time. So I'm assuming from what it said that it is going to carry on where it left off once it's fully charged again, which is going to take an hour or so, I guess. But why am I turning the camera that way? So yeah, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% sold on this yet. But maybe it just takes some time for us to get the settings right and everything like that. I mean, it did vacuum where it was supposed to vacuum. And it did start the mopping process. And as I said, it's low on a battery charge, so it's supposed to continue on and finish that job up once it's fully charged again. We shall. Okay, so that takes me to little projects I've been making. So I saw this. I was showing Walter this, and he thought it was really cool. And what it is, it's the moon, but it's a light. I had to buy a little special flat LED light disc. You can sort of see the cord popping out there underneath it. And when you light it up, you see all the craters and all the features of the moon on it. You could use it sort of like a night light, rented lips, or that kind of thing with it. But it's really kind of cool. And when Walter turns around and he says he really likes something when it comes to 3D printing, I make it and give it to him. Now he just has to find a place to put it. It's in his sewing room right now. And the little LED light disc that goes in it has different settings, so you can change basically the temperature of the color. They measure white in warm, cool, whatever. Well, there's one that's sort of almost an amberish glow, which I think looks really cool with this. So, yeah, I might explore making more lights, but then again, I'll have the same problem as I have with things like, this. Yeah, the houses and structures that I've been making over the last year. The last one you saw was my Santa's toy store. These are all by the same guy, Fluv, I don't know, Fulv. You've heard me talk about him before. He does wonderful designs. And this is the Tuscan Villa. I am running out of places to put these, so this is now sitting in our rec room. And I have it on a timer. And the lights do change colors. And I think it's really cute. I love making these. And yes, I'm holding back right now. There's a couple of more things he's got that I want to make as well and get. But I'm just holding back for a while because I have some other projects ahead of that I got to get to. But these are fun. So that's what I've been doing with 3D printing lately. I've slowed down a little bit on the 3D printing, only because, not because I'm not interested, but I'm not interested in making more trinkets. There's a lot of little trinkets and fidget toys and little dinosaurs and, crocodiles and dragons and things like that. Okay, I've made all those. I'm looking for things that are a little bit more practical. There isn't a lot out there in 3D printing that I find that I would say is practical. And the things that are usually ones that have been designed by people who know how to use CAD programs. And maybe that's what I need to do next. I need to, start learning how to use a CAD program to design my own kind of things. But to be honest, that's a steep learning curve too. And do I want to dedicate the time that I need to dedicate to something like that? Because there are lots and lots of things out there that you can find. You name it, you can find it in the 3D printing world. So yeah, we'll see. But I still love it. I still absolutely love it. Okay, I just need another house to store it all in. Yeah, that's the problem. Okay, so changing the topic completely away from 3D printing and into an old clip from Stephen and Walter Live, from the early days of Stephen and Walter Live. And on this particular episode, we're going to talk about a very unique Canadian drink. We talk about something called Screech.
My mother, she drinks her wine, red wine. I'll just have this much red wine and the rest club soda, please. She has that like,
red wine and club soda. Well, she used to do that because your dad made this horrible homemade wine that you could not drink.
Oh God, it was strip wood. It was the worst stuff.
Their solution was to cut it with club soda.
Yeah. Yeah. But didn't your parents cut something with orange juice?
Yeah, my dad used to make his own wine, but he made it so really, really strong alcoholic wine. And to the point where you couldn't drink it one glass because you'd get bummed.
So didn't he take it to a neighbor who had a still?
Yeah, so
not long out of the
no, not a neighbor.
The hills.
He used to work in a factory, and it's illegal to distill your own liquor in Canada.
Yeah,
but
moonshine. Yeah, well, we don't make moonshine.
But my dad decided to make this gross dandelion and raisin wine.
Ooh.
Oh, it was disgusting. Anyway, it had a very strong alcohol content. So he had great big, what do they call demijohns of this stuff?
Yeah.
Big, huge.
Carboys.
We
call carboys, but demijohns.
Yeah. Awful wine. And he was talking to one of the guys that he worked with that was from Newfoundland. Right? Newfoundland. Right.
They would know.
Yeah, and they know how to distill.
Probably screech.
Yeah. So he says, well, the guy says to him, I can distill it for you. He says,
bye, Debbie. Happy New Year.
And my dad said, sure. So he says, how much will it cost me? And he goes, well, just let me keep a couple of bottles of the results, and that's a good enough for payment. Well, I guess that my mom said it was the best liquor she's ever had.
Well, the Newfies, if you're not from our country and don't know what we mean by Newfies, those are the people who live in the province of Newfoundland. They probably
don't like it when we call them Newfies.
No, I don't know, but they call themselves Newfies.
I don't know.
Too, Newfs, whatever. But they have a drink that they make. It's pure alcohol, and they call it Screech, because I think after one sip of it, well, I've had Screech.
Apparently you can buy Screech in the liquor store.
Oh, God, they made it a legitimate drink now?
Yeah, they call it Screech rum.
Well, one sip of whatever this homemade stuff is, and you are screeching, I'll tell you that.
I don't think the stuff in the liquor stores is potent as the stuff that they make there.
Well, at the Quebec Winter Carnival years ago, you used to be able to get these plastic hollow canes. And the Quebec Winter Carnival always happens in around February, and you think it's cold here. Quebec's really cold.
And they also get massive amounts of snow.
Yeah, and they make an ice palace kind of a thing, and Bonhomme, this big sort of snowman-y kind of thing, dressed in habitant clothing kind of a deal. He's the mascot for it. But people will walk around the street. Now, this is many years ago. I think I was like 18. But they have these plastic canes that you can buy, and they're hollow, of course. And the top comes off them, and you put your booze in it. Well, some people will have Screech and pour it in there, and they're kind of drinking it on the street, which is illegal to do, but it's Winter Carnival and it's Quebec, who cares? No speak of the Frenchy or whatever.
So that takes me to events in the past week, and of course we had New Year's Eve. We didn't do anything. We had some lobster tail. Walter actually took a couple of lobster tails that we have in the freezer, and he prepared them as appetizers. We had lobster tail bits, and we had some hot hors d'oeuvre things here and whatnot, and cheese and all that kind of stuff, and basically watched some of the fireworks displays on YouTube. We especially love Sydney's, because Australia has a special place in our heart. In fact, Walter said the other day, oh, look, when we're watching the video, it's home. Yeah, we're Canadians, but, my second favorite place in the world to live in, if I had to live somewhere, would be Australia. But anyways, we always watch the big Sydney Harbour fireworks display on New Year's Eve, because we've seen it live before on one of our trips to Australia. I think our first trip actually to Australia, back in 2015, 2016. Anyways, then we watched all the other ones, so that was it. I did not stay up till midnight. I had the pop-up day the next day, and I went to bed about 10:30. I think Walter was up, but it's New Year's. Wow. So yeah, speaking of the pop-up day, we had that. We had a good attendance for it. We had over 30 people at one point, and I think everybody had a good time working on things, talking, chatting. It was a good day. If you missed it, well, stay tuned. There's going to be another pop-up day soon. I think possibly at the end of this month. But I haven't made a decision on that yet. As soon as I do, I'll let everybody know. Okay, so that was about it for last week and what's coming up. Well, in the distant, not that far distant future, in a few weeks' time, it is Walter's birthday. And we have decided that we are going into Toronto for his birthday, and we are going to spend a couple of nights in Toronto. We've already booked the hotel, and we've booked a restaurant, the Keg. We love the Keg, and we're going to one that's kind of a unique keg in Toronto called the Keg Mansion, because it isn't actually in an old, large Victorian style home. So we've got our reservations for that already. We might go to, I think we'll go to something called Little Canada, which is a miniature sort of village thing in a huge complex. Like, this thing is huge. That is a trip across Canada, all done in miniature. And many of those miniatures are actually printed, 3D printed. In fact, they have, you can go and pay to have your whole body scanned there, and they will make you into a 3D printed miniature that they will add to the setting, to the display somewhere. So yeah, I don't know if I'll do that or not. Depends, have to look at it and see how much that costs, but I think that's kind of cool. I wonder if they'll give you the file once they've done that too, so I could print it myself as well. Possibilities, got to look into that. Anyways, yeah, so that's in a couple of weeks' time. So we'll talk more about that later. And we'll take video of our adventure in downtown Toronto, and hopefully the weather will be decent. Because downtown Toronto in the winter, if the snow is sloppy, it's dirty, it's yucky. Especially if it's like, it's okay if it snows, but if it's like what we're supposedly having today, sleet or something like that, it's miserable. But anyways, we'll see. Okay, so that's it for me. Tune into the Idiot Quilter tomorrow. We'll talk more about my little adventures in bag making and what I'm doing about that. And on Friday, we have So Chatty. And on Friday, we're talking about something that was another suggestion from a subscriber that we're running with. And then, of course, we have Stephen and Walter live again on Sunday. So, lots out there. Oh, and let's not forget, Sewing with Stephen, me, on Wednesdays too, if you're interested. Okay, I hope you have a great week, and we'll talk to you later. Bye for now.